everyone. But before I get started, I've got like two disclaimers. Okay. So one, my entire family's unwell. My voice is not this bad normally. I have a really good voice, but it is nearly at the end of life today. So put up with it. I've got everything on me, lemon sip, hot water to go through this 1 hour. Number two, Easter break. Majority of you know I've got kids in the house. So if you hear, baby's crying, I've got a 3-year-old in the house. So if he's crying, just ignore it. I hope he's not. I moved away. I'm in the loft and it's boiling up here, but I'm here. I'm animated. With that, let me start. Can you all see my screen? I take it? Perfect. Okay. It's all right. Yeah. Thanks everyone for being here today with me. I'm Gomti Ramalingam, Director of QA and Product Delivery at Simbachain. And I am honestly thrilled, excited, whatever I want to say, to discuss this thing, because this has been something I've been working on, and it's on my mind, my heart, a lot lately, leading with humanity in the age of AI. It's for leaders and future leaders, how we balance tech and human emotions rightly. So the next 50-55 minutes, we're going to spend unwrapping it. And I promise you this is going to be worth your time. But before we get started, for those who don't know me, personally, let me start with my personal achievements. I'm a mom of 12-year-old who thinks my English isn't English anymore. I successfully, over my career, I have deciphered many tools, technologies, coding languages, but today's Gen Alpha language is something that I'm yet to decipher. And I just don't understand it. I don't get it, but it is what it is. But then, yeah, my boys are my support system. They're my pillars for all the time I get to do what I want to do. And as a family, we love to travel. And I strongly, strongly believe, and I think, majority of you would do this and agree with me, that experience is the best teacher for all of us. And I am an avid runner. It keeps me going. There are days when I feel I've had enough, I go out and go for a run. It's like a welcome break for me. And there are days when it helps me organize my thoughts. Yeah, and in doing so, I think I would take this credit and say I've run a few marathons, half marathons, and I've completed the London Marathon not once, but twice. It was I wouldn't say painful. Painful isn't even the word. It was excruciating when I finished it. But yeah, I did it, and it felt like a big achievement in my life. Any runners here? We should catch up. Like if any one of you are here after the talk. And professionally, this year marks a milestone year for me. 2 years or 2 decades, plus few days, months, years, I would say, in my IT career. I have always lived in this. I was talking to Abu earlier. This has been my home in the tech industry. Maybe no wonder my son calls me a dinosaur sometimes, because he thinks I'm so ancient. Anyways, I started my career as a dev, moved on to become a business analyst, and finally found my passion in software testing. I'm proudly part of BCS SIGIST, which is the special interest group in software testing, and our very own Cheltenham and Gloucester committee. And I truly love what these groups do and how they bring people together. And thank you, Abu and team, for today's opportunity. I'm really excited to continue this talk and do this talk for all of you. And in my spare time, I also volunteer for the local British Heart Foundation shop, which one of my friends runs it. And for me, this is like my way of giving back to the society. And I'm also part of the Women in Blockchain Talks community. It is a community for women in blockchain and allies as well. And yeah, I get to meet a lot of people there in Web3, understand what they do in that space. And finally, Simba. I've been with Simba for 3 years. And I don't know if many of you know about this phrase that happens in our Web3 world, but they say the experience that you have times 12 is what you get in Web3, because that's how much things are happening and how much things change in our world. So yeah, it doesn't feel like 3 years. And I remember, whilst I'm talking about this, I remember when my manager asked me, So how long has it been since you joined us? And I said 7 months. And he said, oh my God, it feels 7 years. And maybe that's why I go by the tagline on LinkedIn, Lady on the Block. And that's the picture there. And Simba, what do I say? I've been in trenches in Simba, where we have been building blockchain solutions and products. We have done projects for the US Gov, right? And it depends two main things: precision and trust. And AI has come as a game changer for us. But at the same time, it's also a wake up call. It's reshaping everything that we do, from how we code, how we test, how we live our life to certain extents, and how we connect with our teams. And it's forcing all of us to ask this one basic question: how do we harness this tech without losing what makes us human? And I think we'll continue today's talk in the pursuit of finding an answer for this. So let's look at what is in agenda today. So here's our 50 minutes roadmap. Think about it like our navigating system through the AI jungle. Firstly, we look at where we are today. Then we look at what is happening with tech versus the human connection balance, where we are, and what if we tip a bit on either side, the cost of imbalance. We'll touch on emotional intelligence, which rules in our algorithmic world. And then obviously when we talk about AI, there is ethics, because we have to keep AI honest. And then we'll touch on people first, a culture that we need to build. We'll look at some wins, not so wins, from leaders in the industry, and we'll look at strategies and tools that you can take home. And then we look at, as a leader, what skills you need for this new AI era. How do we co-evolve with AI? And finally, a call for action. Right? So that's my agenda set. And obviously there'll be, hopefully, we'll have enough time for Q&A, and where you can bring your questions, or even we can discuss about running or anything that I mentioned in my little bit about me section. Before we start, I hope you all have got your phones on you. I want you to do a little favor for me, so to keep this as interactive as we can, right? So there we go. How many of you use AI regularly, and how often? For personal, professional, doesn't matter. If you can scan that QR code on left top corner, the answers would come real time. Feel free, it's completely anonymous, so you can tell me whatever. Never used is completely all right. If we can, please. We'll look about like 20, 30 seconds for all of us to do it. If we can, thank you. Okay. I love that. I can't live without it, isn't it? Okay, use regularly. Cool. Perfect. Any more? Ooh. Thank you. Right. Okay. Whilst we are doing this, let me set the scene. So this is what happened. A couple of years ago, I was called into a meeting room where I was presented with an AI report, right, that flagged a bottleneck in our own very delivery system. The thing was, the report was spot on, and it saved us weeks of work. But here's the catch. My team looked nervous. And somewhere in their head, it was like, okay, if AI can do what I'm doing, the standard question, right? Am I next on the chopping block? And that's when it started hitting me. AI is incredible. It is amazing. But it is us, leaders, the future leaders, who have to keep the human side alive. I've seen it do wonders at work. Like, we have used AI to speed up dev testing time by 20%. But there have been times when I also have to step in with the compassion hat on, because my team needs me. I have to sit down with them, have those one-to-ones, listen to them, and make those decisions that would make them feel better. And it's personal for me, and I bet it's for you too. Now let's look at, that's great, use regularly. Okay, perfect. So let's move on to where we are today, realistically. The AI revolution. We like it or not, it is wild out there. AI is everywhere, even in places that we wouldn't expect. AI adoption has reached critical masses across industries with recent studies, I think in 2024, that shows that 67% of companies accelerated their AI adoption. 67%. The question now is no longer that will my organization or if my organization will implement AI, but it has come to now that a point now that how will they implement it to do it effectively and for me humanly. So a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a couple of last week, I guess, I was reading this AI newsletter, and I bumped into this news of the world's most famous dating app, Tinder. They launched a space called the game, where you as a human can interact with a virtual AI persona, which will help you, give you tips, kind of help you with those removing those cringe situations and everything when you meet a person in person, right? So there was even this catchphrase or a, in Gen Alpha language, the riz, which was like something like, "Are you a magician? Because whenever you are around, everyone else disappears." Okay, I'm without revealing my age. This feels too cringe for me, but yeah, that's how that works. But looking, taking a step back and looking at the tech side of it, you look at it and you think how clever it is, because that AI must be analyzing millions of chats, millions of data to craft these perfect lines, right? But for me, the thing is, it could get you the charm, it could even remove those awkwardness in those conversations, but it can't feel the spark that you and I would feel. But that's where we are, because tech's doing a lot of things, but it is us humans who are bringing the soul to the party. In any industry, it is just as big as it is. At Simba, as I mentioned, we cut testing times by about 20%. And last quarter, it flagged a bug in our code that if we personally had to figure it out, it would have taken days for us to manually find it out. But it was my team that fixed it, released it, and our customers were happy. That's the real impact. AI is no more just a buzzword, like everyone needs to talk about it, but it's actually impacting and changing how we work. There are tools like Cursor AI. Anyone's used it? If not, yeah, give it a go, because it's pushing it a bit further. Like my teams uses them to debug code faster. It even, like, you give it a piece of code, it finds out a logic error in it. It saves you time, and I've discussed in many forums with my networks that many organizations are adopting it as a tool itself, as part of their engineering team, or their team. To throw another thing is perplexity in the mix. Who would have thought, right? In a world, because I think I started using computers in like 1990s, and I would have never thought that Google could have a competition. Today I lean on it to research anything about blockchain trends, like very quickly, right? Like once I think I needed something about security aspect of smart contract, right, for a pitch, and I quickly did use perplexity for it. So these are not toys anymore. They are practical, and they boost how we operate. This sounds great, right? All about AI, but it's not all smooth sailing. When my team felt it, am I going to be replaced? I had to step in, show them it's just a tool. End of the day, it's not their boss. And that's the revolution where we are. That is the power of tech and the pressure that we have. Everything is at once coming together. But you zoom out a bit, and then the stats and scale say something completely different. Potential Project says 80% of leaders see AI as critical to their future. That is 80%. And it's not even a maybe, it's a must. But when we look at it from dating apps to Web3, fintech, manufacturing industries, every industry that you look at, AI is rewriting the rules. But here's my take. It's not about what AI can do. It's about what we do with it. And at my organization, I'm using it to make us faster, smarter, efficient, but not colder. And that's where we stand, on the edge, if you can see the graph going up, on the edge of something huge. And it's up to us leaders how we lead it right. So talking about leaders, next we're going to look at how we can wrestle this leadership paradox. So here it is, right? The tension of leadership paradox. One side, there is tech that is pulling us faster, smarter, efficient. On other side, there is a human pull, the trust, the collaborating with your team, the stuffs that keeps us going as human. And it's like a tug of war. And you like it or not, sadly or not so sadly, we leaders are the rope. Now let's look at it one side as tech, and then we look at the human side, right? Now, tech's a beast. AI's driving efficiency at my workplace that I mentioned, like 20% cut. Amazing. It's like innovation on steroids. We are solving problems we didn't even know we had. But then it's relentless. Push too hard, you risk turning your team into cogs. They won't feel like creators. And I have personally seen it, experienced it, because I used an AI tool to give me this perfect schedule that I can work on. But end of it, what happened was I was burnt out chasing it. And honestly, that's the tech trap. Speed at the cost of your own soul. Right now, let's look at the human side of it. Trust and collaboration, these are not optional ingredients. They are like oxygen for us. During difficult times at my organization a couple of years ago, so AI flagged redundancies, right? Data, clear data. It was hard, it was clear, and it was cold. And I could have just sent out an email and said, sorry, but yeah, this is what happens, and called it a day. But I actually met those people one-to-one, sat down with them, listened to them, and tried to place what their next steps is, and even connected them to some people in my network. And honestly, it wasn't easy, but that felt so right. As a leader, that's your role that you have to play. And that's the pull, right? Keeping people as they are when tech and data says cut. And this paradox is not a problem that we have to solve today. It's a balance that we have to strike between the two. And I'm personally learning to lean on AI for speed, but to lead with a heart where my team would trust. It is difficult, it is messy, I understand, because AI can give you all the efficiency and perfect schedules, but it can't care. But we humans can. So next we will look at what happens when there is an imbalance in this balance that we spoke about. So tech's pulling one way, humans the other, and what will happen if we lose that balance, right? So let's look at that picture and say we lean to one side where there's tech without humanity. It's like a robotic workplace, right? Where AI runs everything. Efficiency would be through the roof. And somewhere when you are in your AI journey, you will get to a point this, you will see glimpses of this. And I have seen this, I have experienced this. When we leaned hard into an AI tool, it was cutting processes timing by about like 20, 25, 30%. But my team started feeling like robots, like drones. Like nobody would have time to talk to one another. Turnover spiked by 15%. We would join meetings. There was no casual conversations. It just felt like, you're in a machine shop, right? So what had happened there? Tech won, but we lost. People stopped caring because somewhere people started feeling invisible. Like it doesn't matter if it's them. If it's all tech and there is no heart or humanity around it, it will sound like just noise and there's no connection there. Now, the flip side of it, right? There is humanity without tech. It will be like overwhelmed workers, like working constantly on manual tasks. I'm sure majority of us would have been there, like before this AI era happened, and early days of our careers, right? It would be like we're like slogging. There's you have checklist after checklist, late nights. I have been there few years ago, few as in 10, 8 years ago, where you have missed deadlines. Customers are like, okay, when is this release going to happen? But teams tried everything. Everyone had the heart. Everyone used to pitch in. But there wasn't enough tools to scale what we were doing. So a simple example there would be like, it's like trying to build a house without power drills or just with hammers, for instance, right? So you're stuck, you're stagnant, and you see the world pass by you. So the middle is where we have to be, the balance. An example I would say is there was once a crunch time we hit at Simba, where when we started using AI and it predicted a very tight deadline to deliver something. And it said, okay, everybody has to work 10 plus hours to deliver this. I could have pushed my team easily and they might have done it. But I chose something different because somewhere I felt that was not right. And it was humanly not right for me. So we sat down, we brainstormed, found a way to tweak the plan. So something like, we split the scope smartly, and then we phased out the release so that we don't burn out. So here tech gave us a warning that you will have to do this. That's the warning from me. But we found a place, a win-win situation. So we did deliver in phases successfully, but the main thing was the team stayed together and they're still there. That's the thing. That's the lesson here. You tip too far into tech, you are like you are in a missionary shop. You lean too human without tools, you are a toast. And I'm fighting for that sweet spot where AI speeds us up, but we stay us. So let us see what gets us there. Emotional intelligence is our secret weapon in this age of algorithms. And for me, my research, it consists of three components: awareness, wisdom, compassion. So what is awareness? It is reading the room, right? So you know when your team is stressed. So what is wisdom then? It's deciding what to do with that data and what do you do about it, basically. And compassion, we all know, acting with care. And no algorithms can touch this. It's pure human intelligence that can make this work. And the numbers actually back it up. Potential Project actually found that leaders with high emotional intelligence get 97% more trust. That's insane, right? And they also see that 61% more psychological safety, actually, where people are not worried or scared to make mistakes. And I've lived this. So once when we rolled out an AI tool at my place, and when my team was on the edge, I could have like easily ignored it, but I did not. I pulled my team into a huddle and I said, guys, listen, this thing is here to help us shine, not to shove us out. We brainstormed as a team collectively how to use it and turned that thought of fear into ownership of the tool. And that's emotional intelligence for me. You see the vibe, you guide the team, and you care enough to act. Sadly, algorithms are cold. That is, they can help you optimize it effectively. It will give you like 10 multiple options of how many other options you want. It will give you, but it can never empathize. So for instance, going back to the Tinder example, right? It can suggest you tips like you're a magician and everything, but it doesn't get those butterflies like you and I would get when we are on a date. Good old days when that used to happen, right? But yeah, so going back to an example of ours, I would say when there was an issue and AI found it, my team fixed it, and we delivered it. I thanked both of them, AI and my team, but I told my team, you are the real magic, because it was them who got it done. And emotional intelligence is why we don't just survive AI, we actually thrive with it. And it's us to keep our culture alive as tech ramps up. So before we go to our next topic, I would like to ask again all of you to get your phones out and answer this simple question with a word that comes to your mind before we talk about ethics. There we go. What worries you most about this AI revolution? It could be anything that worries you. Let me see. Hmm, someone? Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. I think all of this, excellent. Getting some answers that I would rightly blend into our next topic that we're going to touch on, because we're going to talk about some ethics here, right? Because AI is not always a very good citizen, right? Yeah, I'll wait for a few seconds and then. Perfect. Job security is the most important thing, and yeah, we will cover as we go through this. I'm sure you will feel that the AI revolution is here, but it is you who can make that huge difference. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, everyone. So yeah, let's carry on with ethics. So we all know AI is amazing; it can do wonderful things, but it's got this dark side, right? Ethics is where it gets messy. As I said, first comes this bias. How many of you remember this Microsoft Taste chatbot? Um, for me, that was the first thing that would come to my mind if it was bias, right? Launched a chat on Twitter, which is now X. It turned into a discrimination troll just in hours because it learned from internet's worst corners. That's bias, because AI mirrors what we feed it, and we are not always pretty, right? And I worry about this a lot, because if our AI is trained on improper data, it could miss bugs, it could miss critical features that that will definitely hit certain users harder than others. And that's not just a glitch for me. If you look into it deeper, it is actually a trust killer. Next comes accountability. Okay, so when AI makes a mistake, who's responsible? Who's in charge? Who's on the hook for the mistake? So a couple of months back, AI flagged a false positive in our testing, and it wasted my teams a day, 3 people a day. So now, what should I say? Was it the tool? Should I just blame the tool? Was it the data it was trained on? Or was it me or my team for trusting it? So this is where we need to have clear lines. Someone's got to own it. And at my organization, we are pushing for that transparency. So we all know who answers when AI actually stumbles, makes those mistakes. And finally, oversight. Yes, AI is smart, we have already mentioned it, but it's not wise like us, right? Because during those difficult times when AI suggested cuts, but I overruled it. Because for me, it, the AI tool looks at the role and thinks that role is redundant. But what about the knowledge and experience? That's where human judgment comes in. And AI can suggest many things today, but it cannot judge right from wrong. But we can. And ethics isn't optional anymore, it is our guardrails. And it ethics is what lets us build a culture that keeps it front and center. Now let's look at how do we keep humanity at the center of everything that is happening today. How do we build a human-centered AI culture? First in is augmentation and not replacement. For those who mentioned, right? At my organization, we are very, very clear that AI is our sidekick. It flags bugs, it can recommend, but we make that final call. It's not here to take our jobs. It's here to make us do our jobs better and more efficiently. And in doing so, my teams are much more happier knowing that they are the brains and they are not the bots here. And that is the difference as a leader you have to bring in. Secondly, curiosity over control. So I think has it been about 3 years now or 2.5 years? I can't really remember when Chat GPT came into play, right? And and then soon after there were like so many, there were other LLMs that came out, and there were so many AI tools out there. So I decided, let's do this, right? So I called my team and I said, guys, look, play with AI, see what it can do for you, personally, professionally, something, right? But just play around and let's see what it can it make a difference for us. And few weeks later, we actually tested a new tool just to see how it works for us, how market fit sort of a thing. And we actually found a glitch that we had missed for months. And I think that's the beginner's mindset, like asking what if instead of, oh God, what's now? And for me, that's how we stay ahead. And what we started as a fun activity has become a, what do I say, a fortnightly event for us where 20-25 minutes the team comes together. One person from my team actually demos a tool that they have used. It has saved some time. It has saved them some manual activity that they've been doing, and we brainstorm about it, and then we go back to our work. But it's something that I have learned. And some of my pictures have been from my most recent demo one of my team did. It was ideogram, where you tell it what you want and it actually gives you a image. Perfect, isn't it? Saves a lot of time for me trying to do it on myself on these slides. So yeah, that's how as a leader you can push for your team further. And compassion via AI. There are so many tools out there. To name one was Culture Amp, which uses sentiment analysis, right, to spot how your team feels. And Harken is another tool that does a lot more, and like it assesses teams' mental health, mental well-being, and it also recommends wellness programs for team members. Like it's like imagine as a leader, you can know when your team is stressed before they burn out. Use AI because AI can amplify care, not just code these days. And this is personal for me. I've seen AI like help us a lot, cut dev and testing times. But it is the core culture of this organization where there is trust, there is curiosity with the team, and they care about what they do. That actually makes whatever AI is suggesting work. AI can help with a lot of things, but it can't build a human team. But we can. So now let's look at some of the leadership's um, success and not so success stories. So let's start with this. So years back, Amazon developed an hiring algorithm, but sadly that showed bias against women because it was trained on historically male dominant hiring data, right? Clear bias. And there are facial recognition failure systems still, which have repeatedly shown biases, particularly against people of color. The key lessons here is we not that we can also learn from this ethical failures, but also what we understand or what we have to inculcate in our organizations is ethics is a must and must be designed from the beginning. Not it's not an afterthought, and it's not an one time checkpoint that we have to do. It needs to be reviewed continuously. And now let's look at some success stories. Microsoft, Satya Nadella's AI for Good. I'm sure many of you know about this. It's my personal favorite. They are using AI to help the blind read, pairing human ingenuity with tech. It's not always for profit, it's for purpose. And that's what I really like about it. Shows that AI can actually lift us up. Next up is Google. Sundar, which has got, the ethical AI principles baked into Alphabet, transparency, fairness, the works. They're not perfect. Okay, let me take a step back and say they're not perfect, but they're trying. And it's the model for big players to lead right. Sorry. Ethics isn't a buzzword anymore. It's like a rule book. Then, obviously, us in our own ways at Simba, our AI win. So, last year or about like summer last year, we decided, okay, we'll get. We had this AI tool, so we gave it all the prompts and everything, and to provide strategies to improve our current processes then and workflows, and it gave us many suggestions. But this is where we made the difference. We didn't go straight away with it, with the suggestions it gave. We wanted it to be an organizational experience for everybody. We wanted to take everyone on this AI journey to believe in it. So we kicked off an AI strategy session, discussed everything with everyone, brainstormed, and started the journey. And today, I'm extremely proud with the advancements we have done and where we are today. We have a product that has real-time supply chain AI information, and it's LLM agnostic. And the best part is it gets its data from blockchain. So this way, the entire team was bought into the vision, and that meant only one thing: humanity led. These stories prove it, right? So tech's power plus human heart is always a success story. AI can help you do a lot of things, but it can't inspire like Nadala or guide you like Vijay or like imagine rally like what we did, right? So again, I think this would be the last one, but yeah, one last time for me, get your phones out, and if you can answer this question for me, again, completely anonymous, and I would love to hear from you. Where is your organization on this AI journey? Sorry, that gave me some time to break and have my lem sip. Perfect. Wow. For those who are in advanced state, I would love to say that, at the end of it, this is not just a talk where I want to sit down and talk, but I would love to listen to your stories and take some notes, and I would love to take it back to my organization and see if we can make a difference there. Perfect. And for those who have just started or not yet started, it's never too late. You're making a start today, and that's the most important thing. Thank you for taking part, and I promise this was the last one. Uh, cool. Thanks, everyone. Right. So now we will look at what practical strategies that I have used, I have seen it work for me, that you can take to your organization. And for people who think they have done something different, at the end of it, it's not just a QA session. You can always come back and give us some guides, help us through how we can add some more strategies to it. So currently, my strategies are here. First up would be assess your tech human balance, right? Look at your workflows. Sorry. So yeah, assess. Sorry. This is me talking too much, I think, today. Anyways, yeah. So look at your workflows. Are you leaning too hard on the AI side? Are you slogging without it? So last quarter, we actually ran a check at my organization. AI was speeding testing, dev, work, everything. But the manual handoff were killing us. We tracked productivity, morale, turnover was creeping up. So we had to take a decision. We had to tweak it. We had to adjust it. We paired AI with human oversight. And then we saw that we leveled out. You use your metrics. See where you're tipping on either side of to make it an imbalance and work on it. Secondly, and my most important one, is develop AI literacy across all levels. Everyone needs to get it, from your CEOs, CXOs, to your senior managers, to your managers, your product team, your engineering, your ops team, frontline, everyone. We actually rolled out workshops at my organization, 2 hours on what AI can do and what AI can't do. Our ops team were initially a bit terrified that it would take their job. They had job insecurity issues. But now they are pitching AI tweaks. It's all about demystifying it, right? You know, the fear drops as soon as you understand something. And then you start being part of the system. AI can help you with a lot of things, but your team won't care unless they actually understand it. And as a follow-on action of it, I would recommend build a diverse cross-functional AI team within your organization. Technical team alone won't cut it. We've been there, done that. We have learned from it. Mix in diverse people within your organization. Like currently, our AI squad has got engineers, a lady from the compliance team, blockchain experts, and me. Diverse views across gender, culture goes a long, long way. It's like variety saves you from blind spots, right? Third, I would say create ethical guidelines for AI development. Define clearly, you will have to define your fairness, your transparency, accountability, everything we saw there. Because at my organization, we actually hit a point last year rolling out an AI triage for customer support tickets. So what it started doing was it started prioritizing high value accounts. It was fair on paper, according to the AI's tool, but it deprioritized smaller clients. Some of them were waiting for weeks. Biased, unequal access, hurt our support team a lot. So we drafted guidelines: equal service priority, full transparency on AI decisions, human in the loop, audit for bias every quarter, must. It's our ethical backbone that keeps AI from making mistakes that would come back and hurt us. Then comes implementing human impact assessments. Before and after AI hits. Check the workload of your team, check their trust level, check their morale. We piloted an AI scheduler. Pre-check showed excitement, team was amazing, everything was there. Post-check, team felt rushed. We ensured we had to adjust it. What do? Add in more human flex time. Feedback is golden, but as leaders, we need to know how to use it wisely. And as leaders of today, I highly suggest that don't guess what your team would feel. Measure it. That is how you will actually know it. And lastly, but never the least, establishing AI governance structures. You need guardrails, boards, roles, and in the last quarter, we actually set up an AI oversight council that reviews every single AI deployment. We've got a policy: no AI rollouts without a risk assessment, and also an ethics sign off needs to happen. Last week, it actually caught a data privacy glitch, saved us a lawsuit actually. So if you look at it, governance is not an afterthought. Think about it, it's like it's how you sleep at night, thinking AI is not going wild in the background whilst you are fast asleep. So these strategies aren't theories. We live them at Simba, assessing, educating your team, guiding them, diversifying, measuring, govern it, and invest in people. AI can provide you a guidance, but this builds the future, right? So let's talk about what skills you would need as a leader in this era. So traditional skills that we have, right, like the vision, the communication, empathy, they're not going anywhere. Bottom line, right? And I still rely on them daily to rally my team. But AI is rewriting the playbook, and we need new ways, new skill sets to stay ahead. And here's what I learned leading through this shift. First, technical, ethical reasoning. It's not just knowing AI, it's fighting with it with its right and wrong, or rather, not fighting, I would say wrestling with its right and wrong, right? When AI flagged a recommendation, I stepped in to ask it, is this fair to all the users? Is the data correct? These are like questions that boils down to your moral values of a leader. Second, translating between what the machine's logical answer is into a human understandable format. Like, for instance, AI can give you a response for the prompts that you provide, but as a leader, you will have to decode it, why it works for your organization or why it doesn't, and explain to your team in that way. More like bridging the gap, right? For example, right? So AI says, optimize this. How do I convey that to my team? Here's how it helps us. And then you explain it. And the next would be managing the human AI collaboration. This is so critical because your team and AI aren't rivals, they are partners. Think about it like you are the thought leader and AI is your thought partner. AI, for instance, like if AI flags a bottleneck, but it's the team that comes together, brainstorms, and fixes it. So it's not like me versus the machine, it's us plus it versus the problem. Solving the problem is the main thing here. And navigating ambiguity with AI recommendations. So we've had a lot of tools earlier, right? Where before AI, where you give it an input, either it will be right answer or the wrong answer. It's 0 or 100. It is deterministic. But with AI, it has come to a point where it is probabilistic in nature. That is, it could be 70% correct, it could be 82% correct, the confidence score that it comes up with, right? So navigating this ambiguity needs a skill set of its own. It's like you have to sift through the noise and get through it. And lastly, as a leader, it is our responsibility to build a culture where us humans and AI work together, collaborate together. And these competencies are there for the future. They are no longer like, yeah, you can have them, you cannot have them. These are mandatory ones for me that will lead us to be leading in the future. And traditional skills, again, going back to it, it will keep us grounded for sure. But these are the ones which will help us grow with AI. And in my own ways, I think today's and tomorrow's leader needs to be bilingual. What I mean by that is they need to be fluent in both human and machine language. So let's see, how does the future look like now? Let's start with saying that the future isn't about picking sides, right? It's not about you take the human side or the machine side. It's about co-evolving with AI. We need to forget, it's human versus the machine. That's like old news now. It's no longer like that. And I've stopped personally seeing AI as a rival. It's not us versus it, as I said, it's us and it. It's like yin yang, right? Sorry, I couldn't draw that with my hand, but yeah. Because co-evolution is nothing but we each get better because of the other. Like AI is sharpening our game. We are faster because of AI, but AI is smarter because we guide it correctly. Think about that chat AI, Tinder's AI chatbot, right? It can give you this amazing catchphrases and everything, but it is us who are tweaking it, providing it more relevant data, more chat information, and making it work better every single day. That's like the dance, right? AI pushes us and we push it back. But here's the thing, what endures is our uniquely human behavior, right? So think about it like this. So AI at my place optimized a pipeline. It helped us cut testing time by 15%. But what we looked at it was flat because it kind of missed some of the edge cases that my team's decision making at that point of time would do. But then my team jumped in, right? They came up with this idea of hybrid testing model where AI runs the basics, the repeated test that we know will always function in a straight line, or the ways, the paths that we know would work. And then the team would work on the edge cases. That was great. And it boosted the reliability by 18%. From 0 to 18 was a big jump. AI set the stage, but my team actually did it. Empathy? I would give an example that, yeah, we had a product designer, a new junior one who's just come out of uni and joined us. And our AI actually flagged their work as it was inefficient. It was right, but it was not human enough to handle it right. So I actually set up a meeting with that person. We went through it, but as a leader, I ensured there was no judgments. We reworked together, and the magic slowly happened. It was not exponential, but it happened over a period of time. Emotional connections built on that. Like after a very big delivery that we had, and we did it, we suddenly had an email from our CEO about it's a takeaway dinner from the organization, right? Everyone had a free takeaway and they had to just submit those bills, and then it was on the organization. So the next day when we all were on the stand up, it was a different ambience. Like we all laughed at how AI what we were doing that night, and had the war stories and everything. And for me, no tech can replicate that bond. It's like us recharging each other, right? And purpose is a very big thing, because I'm just thinking more. Okay, yeah. So I think it was like summer last time, or maybe slightly earlier than that. Our AI tool came back and said that our users are onboarding. That is great, but the stats come back as about 25-30% drop offs were happening after they sign up. So once this happened, this is just not data. For me, it was like people trying to trust us, and there's something that is going wrong. So got the team together, we redesigned the flow and made a simple tweak. Instead of a welcome message or from a bot or something like that, we added a human touch to it, like a welcome call from us. And the drop off fell to 10% in the next 2 months, from 30 to 10. So we used AI and it showed us what the problem was. But it was the purpose that we felt to make it better that turned into loyalty. So, and the users stayed because we cared about it, right? So this is our future, co-evolving, not competing with AI. AI handles the grunt work and we bring the soul to it. And at Simba, I see it daily because tech speeds us up, but humanity is what keeps us real. The future genuinely belongs to those who come with this unique human features, right? Qualities with the machines. Now, let's look at the call for action. So I would like to wrap with the leadership call for action. This moment demands a new paradigm, one that grabs AI's power and cherishes what makes us human. At Simba, I see this shift because AI has helped us a lot, but it is my job to keep the soul intact. And this isn't just mine, it is yours too. You are shaping how AI hits your teams and your world and your organization. And I would just ask you all to commit to these three things end of today with me. Firstly, lead with ethical courage. It's not always easy. Sometimes it's saying no to tech when it is wrong. So last year, when AI flagged a release as a low risk and we got all the sign off, But we realized it could have exposed user data, and that privacy is non-negotiable. We delayed. We fixed what needs to be fixed. Took a hit on the deadline, but we kept the trust. And that's courage, choosing right over easy. And you will face your own line, but it is ethics that trumps efficiency every single time. Secondly, invest equally in human and tech capabilities. Because Tinder's AI can do a lot for you, but it's your team's creativity that can turn a glitch into a win. And at my organization, we are pushing for AI training and human skill set together because both of them matters. Don't leave people behind chasing the latest fancy shiny tools. And thirdly, create a culture where human and AI can lift each other up, not fight. AI predicted a bottleneck at our organization where it was a tight deadline and there were like tons of tickets. But instead of panic, we got together as a hack day, got everybody together along with AI. We cleared the backlog in about 3/4 of a time. As a remotely working organization, we virtually high-fived. AI got smarter and everyone won together. And that's what leaders do. Make AI your teammate, not a threat. Because AI is rewriting the game and leadership is what transforms lives. And we all are on this human-centered vision. And I'm personally inviting you all to join me in this so that we can make it real. So thank you for joining me today. And I am opening the floor to questions and discussions. Truly interested in hearing from about you all, about your experience of how you have been balancing the tech and humanity in your organizations or in your space, and also those runners, if you want to discuss about that.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Gomati. That was incredibly insightful. So I believe, yeah, let's move on to our Q&A session for now. If you haven't already, please do feel free to drop your questions into a chat or just unmute yourselves to directly ask the questions to Gomati. I believe we had one question from Vicky. She was saying, what was the name of the tool to help understand the team's sentiment?
Oh, there was it was Culture Amp and also Hearken. Thank you, Vicky.
We've got a question from Renato. I'm not sure if you are able to see the chats. I will just read it out for all the other participants as well, just in case. Are we manipulated by AI, as known as it grooms us?
That's a good question, Renata, because I think it is neutral because we feed the data to AI, right? So it's how much data we put into it. So if we want to manipulate the data, we feed it in and get information accordingly, we can. So it's in our hands, and that's why I always say that it's the data that it's trained on. So if you want it to give you the right answers, you give it the right information.
Great, thank you, Gomati. We've got another question from Chris. We are starting to explore using Copilot. What are your thoughts on this AI compared to ChatGPT?
So, okay, so I have read about Copilot. Thank you for asking this question, Chris. But we have used a lot of tools in our journeys, and Copilot is one of them because it is incorporated with the tool that we are using. So I think it is good. Whereas ChatGPT is Gen AI, right? So I would personally say that it is one of my favorites. I don't want to answer here about where's my favorites, where's my head about. But every organization, you need to know why. Why do you want to implement AI? What is your purpose of implementing? Have a strategy for it, and then go for the tools. Evaluate your tools. Some of them would fit your purpose. Some of them would not be able to if it would not be able to cover what you want to do with it. So I hope I have answered without taking any personal favorites, because I think I was just telling Tabu that I cannot. I mean, like with these, right? It's like you can't have favorites between your children. That's how it is.
Thank you, Gomati. We've got another couple of questions. One is from HM. How did your organization start the AI journey? Most organizations are confused about where to start.
Thank you for that question. I think it was because we had a vision of having we work in this Web3 space, so there was always the conversation of AI being part of our organization, and where do we start it. But it is about what your organization want to achieve with AI. As I mentioned earlier, the journey starts with asking the what and why questions within your organization, and once you answer those questions, you will have to put in a strategy together. That is the first thing before implementing anything, before starting your journey. Know what you want to achieve, what is your target, what is your goal of your journey, and you start from that. So for us, in our case, we wanted to have a supply chain, real-time supply chain tool, right? So whenever there is a part that is being supplied, you have an information, and we incorporated AI with that because we could ask it questions. The data was coming from blockchain, so it was clear vision for us at what we wanted to achieve and where we wanted to have our AI as part of our journey. That was the product of ours. And obviously, you always start sometimes when you're not sure. The other way to get to it is, don't start at the core, the main purpose of getting an AI done. Maybe when we started, we had a very simple PDF page where it was all text about how do you start using our blockchain product, right, for a B2B customer. And then my QA team had to test that, and manually testing that with every release was humanly not possible. So we incorporated ChatGPT at that place. So start at a corner. Once do a POC of it, you understand the value of it, then you move towards the core of your business. So yes, I hope that
Great,
answered.
thank you, Gomati, again. We've got a couple more questions. One from Adu is asking how does AI pick which answers it tells us from our questions?
Okay, so AI is trained on gazillion amount of data, right? So when you answer a question, this is like I was hearing to a podcast the other day, and it was interesting because what they mentioned was, they asked you how many books have you read in your lifetime, and if I would have said like 200, 2000, right, or 2000, you know 3000, for instance, as a number, the question came back as, but can you cite something from one of the book that you read at this precise point of time? I couldn't, right? You could tell one or two from your favorites, not from any book that Mo could ask me. That's how it is. But if you look at AI, it's trained on gazillion amount of data, but it comes back with the perfect answer for your question from the data it's trained in that 1 second, which I don't think humanly I could do that. So yeah, that's how I think it picks the right answer based on what you do.
Great. Well, thank you, Gomati. We've got the last but not least question so far. If there's any more questions, please drop them out. With the questions from Jennifer, do you take the environmental impact into consideration when you choose AI tools?
So if the whole point of this talk was based on humanity, so I think that definitely ties into the environmental impact, right? Because I don't know if how many of you had done it recently, but when Ghibli got out, and everyone was like, oh, can you convert this into a Ghibli picture for me? Last 2 weeks, that was the thing that was trending. And the Sam Altman actually posted that we are using a lot of GPUs, guys. Can we keep it low, right? So we as humans as much as this is exciting and it is amazing, we have to consider the environmental impacts, how much of energy it's using and everything. Be always thoughtful, we have been thoughtful. I have been thoughtful as an organization. We come from this Web3 blockchain space where blockchain itself is using a lot of networking capabilities, but obviously, there it is an evolving industry. It is new. There's a lot happening there. Like, I remember when I started off, there was this um, different types of, oh my god, I'm just lost for words now. There was a lot of energy that was being consumed, and then we did a change where the energy consumption came down by 99%, and I'm sure AI tools will get to a place like that. But until then, I think I would agree with Jennifer that we need to take into consideration the environmental impacts as well, as humans, for our future.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Gomati. I believe these are the questions so far, unless there's someone else that would like to ask any questions. But for now, I would like to say a huge thank you, Gomati. That was very insightful. And thank you very much for everyone else who attended this webinar. And we hope that you leave the webinar inspired.